everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I hope today has been treating you well. In today's video, as you can see from the title down below, I am going to be trying out a load of new products from TECHNIC. They very kindly sent me over this big box of goodies. There is so much in here. I'm going to be diving into it today. We have got some of the new products from the GOTHICA collection, a black blush. We're going to be getting into it. We've got the eyeshadow palette. We've got a green lip thing. We've got the liquid liner. We've got a load of different things. There are some products in here that are like skin tone dependent and not necessarily the skin tone that I am living in. So I am going to be saving up some of these products for a giveaway at the end of the month, because honestly there are duplicates here of products that I already own. There are products here that I already purchased with my own money, and I just don't need products that, you know, aren't my skin tone. So I am going to be saving up a load of these products and doing a giveaway at the end of the month. But I'm so thankful for TECHNIC for sending these things over to me so that I could try them out for you in Everyday October. I hope that you enjoy this review. I already have foundation, concealer and brows on. All TECHNIC products, of course. The Triple Wave Serum Foundation and Concealer. One of my favourite foundation and concealer combos from the summer. I absolutely love those, and I'm going to be living in them all autumn, winter long because dry skin. I need a nice hydrating, lightweight feeling but still quite a lot of coverage foundation and concealer duo. And then the brows are the TECHNIC Ultra Fine Micro Brow Pencil and the brow gel, tinted brow gel. Brow products aren't necessarily my favourite. I mean, they did the job. I have brows on my head now, but the foundation and concealer, chef's kiss. Absolute perfection. And I feel like I just need to give this little disclaimer now. Even though these products were gifted to me, I'm going to be giving my honest thoughts on them. If these are no good, you will hear about it. It really doesn't even come into my thinking that these were gifted, so I have to say something nice, you know? Because if TECHNIC hadn't sent these things to me, I would have purchased them with my own money. So let's just start with bronzer. Obviously I already have the marbled bronzer, which they sent me 2 more shades for, but I already have the one that like is for my skin tone. So this is Sunbaked. I already love this. I already have used this so much. It really is beautiful, but they sent me these, which I'm intrigued by. These are the Glow Up Luminous Face Powders. So I'm guessing that these are meant to be like setting powders or like finishing powders, but I'm wondering if this slightly deeper one, which is in the shade Tan, I'm wondering if I would be able to use this as a bronzer, because this is glowy, which I like, but I'm wondering, I want to try this one. I'm wondering how a powder bronzer will go with obviously the cream blush that's black, you know? So let me get into this packaging. So this is what the colour looks like. I feel like if this is fairly pigmented, which I think it maybe will be, this will make a beautiful bronzer. Like really nice. Let me, ooh, feels very smooth. Yeah, that will absolutely work as a bronzer for me. Really nice. And it is ever so slightly luminous, but not to the same level that that marbled bronzer is. So I'm going to take a Real Techniques blush brush, dip into that a few times and stamp it off because that looked very powdery. And let's try and add a little bit of colour back into the skin. That looks really nice. So obviously this isn't from the Halloween autumn range. This is from their summer range, but I never picked it up. That's a really nice bronzer. Obviously it's blending really nicely because it's meant to be that like all over the face powder. That looks really nice. and ever so slightly glowy, but not too luminous where I feel like that would be too much to use all over the skin. If you got one that was your actual skin tone and you wanted that sort of set but still glowy look, that would be beautiful. But for me, as a bronzer, I love, so just for reference, the foundation and concealer I use in the shade Light. Both of those are in the shade Light, and then this was Tan. They sent me Tan and Medium, but actually I really like the undertone of Tan. Yeah, I like that so far. Also, I've got this cardigan on and I'm like, just casually throw it over your shoulders. It's absolutely freezing today. Absolutely freezing. Like, I've got a blanket on me and a hot water bottle. I'm giving you the illusion that it's warm in my house, and it's not. It's absolutely freezing. So I'm very, very excited about this blush. Can you tell? I'm nervous, but I am excited. So I'm just going to be brave and I'm just going to dip straight in once I've gotten into the packaging. So this is the Gothica Colour Changing Gel Blush. It says on the back, a pH reactive gel formula creates a shade of pink unique to your skin tone. I don't necessarily believe unique to your skin tone, because these work by reacting to the pH in your skin. Everybody's pH is pretty much exactly the same, because if it wasn't, your skin would be too acidic and it would fall off. Basically. So, I mean, I'm not a biologist, but that's the long and short of it. It's the same with like pH changing lip products. You know how they all go the same shade of hot pink? It's because everybody's pH is pretty much the same. And if it's not, that's when you need to get yourself to a doctor. So, I don't necessarily believe that this is going to be a unique shade to everybody, but I'm excited to see what shade it's going to go nonetheless. I'm just going to go straight in with my brush. Does it say how I should apply this? No. That's fine. I am going to remove the cat hair from my brush. And let's dip in. Like that. Oh, that looks dark purple on my brush. Okay. I actually was introduced to the idea of a purple blush in the summer and I loved it. I dipped in way too much. Way too much, but let's try and blend this out. Okay. It's pretty. It's very, very pretty. It's blending very nicely. It's very pigmented though. You saw how little I dipped into that. It was potentially looking a little bruisey for a moment, but now that that has calmed down a little, blended out a little, that's pretty. And I love me a cream blush. You know me. I love a cream blush. So let's just make sure that that's really nicely blended. That's a really great amount of colour. And actually I feel like that has blended really nicely. I'm just going to take a little bit, just whatever's left on my brush, across the nose. I really like that colour. It's going to show up this colour. If you are my skin tone, it's going to show up this colour on you. I'm sure on different skin tones it will show up a different colour, and I do believe that you would probably be able to build that up really nicely if you had a deeper skin tone, so that you've got more of that, like, it's almost a pink but it's got a berry tone to it. I really like that, and it doesn't feel sticky. I really, really like that. I am just going to bounce over a little bit with that sponge that I used to blend out my foundation. but I really like that. I was always going to like the blush. I was always going to like the blush. So they also sent me another shade of the marbled blush that I already have one of. And I really like it, but I really like it over the top of a blush because these are quite sheer. So this is the shade Sunset, and I do believe that this is going to be more of a highlight on my skin tone. So I am going to use my usual highlight brush, but I'm going to sort of apply it all over where I put that blush to sort of transform this, hopefully, into sort of like a blush lighter sort of a vibe. Okay, so I'm not the biggest fan of that blush just because it's almost a little bit grey looking. Like, it's not going over that blush incredibly nicely. Like, it looks a little bit heavy. And I already had one of these that I got in the summer, but it was more of a pink shade. It was this one, which was Glow Time, and this one over the top of another blush to add that glow lighter, highlighter, pink toned highlight sort of a vibe. That's how I use this one. This new one, which was in Sunset, is just a little bit grey looking on the skin, which isn't necessarily the vibe that I go for. So that one, not my favourite. If you're wanting a glowy blush option and you're my sort of skin tone, Glow Time is really, really pretty. So, what next? Are we on to the eyeshadow palette? I think we might be. So this is the Gothica Dark Side eyeshadow palette. They have two. They have one that was more warm toned and one that was more cool toned, and this is the more cool toned option. So it comes with a little spongy applicator doofer. I'm not going to be using that, but this is what the eyeshadows look like. So we've got 4 mattes, yeah, 4 mattes and 2 shimmery options, I'm guessing. I will go off and swatch these, and then I'll zoom you in and we can create some sort of eye look together. I think I want to go quite dark and smoky today, but we've also got a liquid liner that I'm very excited to try, and a green lipstick. So let me go off and swatch these, and then we can create some sort of eye look together. Okay, so this is what all of those shades look like. That silver shimmer. Very interested in that. I already know that I really enjoy the formula of the matte shades. From the eyeshadow palettes that I've had before, the matte shades have been fantastic, and it's been the shimmers that have let me down. The way that that silver is catching the light, and actually this was the one next to it that I thought was also a shimmer, but it's definitely more of a satin, almost like one of those shades that's a matte with glitters in it, if you know what I mean by that, where it's like a dark grey sort of a shade, but then it's got little bits of like purple glitter in it. It's beautiful, it's just not necessarily what I was thinking it was going to be, but that grey silver shimmer, you better believe that's going all over my lid. That is beautiful, and it does almost have a little bit of a purpley, like it goes with the like slightly duskier purple tone. So really, really like the look of that just from the swatches. I'm just going to tap out the creases in my concealer. Do I use an eyeshadow primer today? Yeah, why not? It's out on my table. I will just use a little bit of the Beauty Bay eye base. Did TECHNIC do one? I'm not sure. I'm just going to tap a little bit of this over and blend it out. So I'm just going to sort of dive straight on in. I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I will dip into that second shade along, the most like browny sort of neutral one. None of these products have mirrors in, so I'll just use a separate little mirror and work this shade through the crease. So that's a nice little transition. Nothing crazy, it's just like a cool toned little something. I will go into the next one over slightly deeper, and I'll just get that right on the end of that brush, just the same brush. And I'll keep that a little bit further down into the crease, not blend it out too far. I do think I want to go quite smoky today. If you haven't seen my channel before, I never know what I'm doing, so like I never know what my end goal is going to be, is what I mean by that. I'm just making this whole thing up as I go along. It's purely for entertainment purposes only. So I am just like properly dragging that next middle shade out. We're getting dark, we're getting smoky. So I'm just going to take a long like liner brush and I'm going to dip into that black. I'm going to create a little bit of like a smoky wing. And then I do also have this eyeliner pen and stamp. I'm nervous. Another product that I'm nervous about, but I'm going to just create a little bit of a smoky wing with this eyeshadow. A little something like that. I'm going to add a wing, obviously, I'm going to add a wing, but that black isn't necessarily the blackest black. Obviously I have like tapped that on and smoked it out and everything. Not the easiest black to work with. If you were wanting this whole palette for the matte black, I wouldn't recommend it. The other matte shades blended out really, really nicely, built up really nicely. The black was just a little bit harder to work with. But also, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just going to take that bright silver shade and I'm going to take that on my finger. I mean, oh, so reflective. And I'm going to tap that all over the lid. And I'm just sort of tapping over everything just to like disperse that right out, because obviously I'm a magpie. Obviously I love the shimmers. I'm just going to go in with a little like pencil brush and get that right on into the inner corner. Like press that in. I love that silver shade. That almost feels like soft under my finger as well. Like it's picking up really nicely. It's picking up nicely even on a brush as well, which is not always a given. So I am getting quite a bit of fallout just from where I applied that with my finger. Obviously, if you're going to be doing quite a smoky, dramatic look like this, it is expected. You should probably do your eyes first. I'm just going back in with that mid-brown shade, the matte one that we started with, just to buff over that top edge. And actually, I think I am probably done. I might actually just see how well I can build up that shade, that other shimmer, because it looks like it could potentially be sort of a duochrome, but this shimmer feels more like the shimmers from Technic that I've tried before, where they're a bit hard pan, a little bit sort of lackluster. They don't really give me very much. Yeah, that shade is giving absolutely nothing. I'm like properly digging my finger in there now. It's not giving me a great deal. The silver shimmer, however, is beautiful. I love that silver. So one last little blend over all of that and I'm very happy with how that looks. It's dark, it's smoky. I'm just going back in with that matte black shade I'm trying to make this outer corner. The matte black is not my favourite. The matte black is not doing it for me. Honestly, this whole palette is saved by that silver shimmer. Is it the best cool tone palette I've ever used? No, but that silver is beautiful. I really, really like that. So I'm going to get into the liquid liner, which has a stamp on it, and I'm like, this could go one way or another. Let me just get into the packaging. So this says that it is the TECHNIC GOTHICA eyeliner, pen and stamp. So the stamp, oh goodness, the liner is she chunky, she very chunky, and then the stamp is a star. Okay, do I want to put some stars? I was wanting to film some other things after this. I'm like contemplating my life choices. I'll try it. I can try it. I can always take it off. Let's start with the chunky looking liner. Let's see how. Very black. Very liquidy. It is obviously like a felt tip, but it's just so chunky. Let's see. I usually prefer a brush tip. That's normally what I find easier. Oh, it is picking up. It's picking up quite a bit of that glitter. It's black though. It's very black. Right. Let's try and get a wing. Here. I've managed to get a wing. There is definitely a wing there. It almost feels quite awkward in my hand because it's so thick. Don't say it. Don't say it. Okay. You know what? For a felt tip, I don't hate that. I usually really struggle with felt tips, but actually I feel like I managed that quite well. Do I want to use that stamp? I was about to say, yeah, that's a star. And then just on the back of my hand there, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see that. Can you see where that's like bleeding? And yes, I have very dry skin, but I had moisturised. And I have a lot more texture on my eyes than I do on the back of my hand. So actually, I don't think I'm going to use that on my face. I think if you wanted to use that, I was about to say sort of on your cheeks, but you've got texture there as well. And that's normal, and we shouldn't hate on that. Maybe on your eyelids? Where would you use? Where would you use a star-shaped stamp? I'm not going to try that today, but let me know. Where would you use a star stamp? That's just not my vibe. So, do I own a TECHNIC mascara? I must do. Okay, apparently I don't own a TECHNIC mascara, so similar price point. Gonna go with the Essence Call Me Queen Dramatic False Lash Effect mascara, and then we can try that green lip gloss. We can only try. We can only try. So I did just add more of that brightest silver right onto the inner corner, obviously. Obviously, because it's me and I need that inner corner highlight, and a little bit more of the dark middle shade, like right under the eyes before I put the mascara on. It's not groundbreaking, it's nice. If you like this colour story and this is the sort of look that you would do just on an everyday basis, these like cool tones, you would probably really like that. That silver is the star of the show, by far. Really, really beautiful. So, I put a bit of lip balm on before I started. I'm going to leave you zoomed in so that you can see the green lip gloss, because this is the Gothica green to pink colour changing lip balm. Sorry, it's a lip balm. A green lip balm with pH colour changing properties that will change to your unique shade of pink. I'm not going to say the whole thing again. It's not a unique shade. I think that they had 2 options for this. They only sent me 1, which is fine. A green lip gloss. I mean, if I could get into it. Hello. I'm so dumb. I'm crying. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. I'm actually crying. No, don't ruin the makeup. Don't ruin the makeup. I have actually just been sat here for an embarrassing amount of time trying to twist this, and it's not twisting because it's a pull and a twist. Can you tell I'm back on the coffee? I've been off coffee for months, but October's got me. We're only like a week in. Oh my goodness. So, very, very green. Let's focus. We're professionals. It's very green. My lips are very dry, even though I had that lip balm on. Autumn is getting to me, clearly. So, let's just see. I'm going to do this and I'll see what colour it goes, and then I'll maybe do a lip liner. Let's just... yeah. Exactly the same as every other pH changing lip balm that I've got. That like hot pink. Yeah. Is it a nice feeling lip balm? It certainly is. Feels lovely and hydrating. Is it green? No. The packaging fooled me. It doesn't smell of anything, which is a bonus, because what would a green lip gloss, lip balm smell like? Yeah, it's fine. I feel like I need more blush on now though. Is this risky? Is this incredibly, incredibly risky? Trying to put more black blush over the top. So you see how these are sort of changing to the same hot pink sort of a shade? Yeah. It's that pH reactive element of it that's always going to change to the same sort of shade. So actually that has gone over the top of all of those powders and everything. Nice enough. I'm not noticing anything of note with the blush going over the top of everything. It is always just going to be the same sort of hot pink shade. If you have a blush like this that is a pH reactive one, likely you've got them all ultimately, but I don't. So I like it. I'm not mad. So I have a TECHNIC lip liner here. It's just one that I got in the summer, and it's a nice like nudie sort of shade. This is the Nude Edit lip liner in the shade Bear. And honestly, I thought just sort of a nudie lip liner with this lip balm. I feel like the colour is grabbing a little unevenly, but my lips are very, very dry. So that is my nearly full face of TECHNIC, using a load of the new products that TECHNIC have launched recently. So let's go over everything that was like new to me today. The Luminous Face Powder in a deeper shade to use as your bronzer. I love that. Like, genuinely love that as a bronzer. And that's a beautiful shade, really nice and buildable, very soft, very sort of blurring. And like I say, that was in the shade Tan that I used today. The blush I like. You don't need a lot of it. And it blends out really, really nicely. The colour is always going to be the colour that you see on my face, you know? But I do feel like you would be able to build that up, like, because it was a lot on the first swipe. If you were of a deeper skin tone, I do believe that that would be able to show up very, very nicely. The eyeshadow palette, like I say, if you want this just for that silver shade, absolutely go for it. If you're wanting this to be like a standalone sort of eyeshadow palette, I don't necessarily think that this is the best one that I've ever tried. That silver shade is probably one of the better silver shades that I've ever tried, but I'm not really a silver kind of girly, so if you're wanting a cool tone palette, it's nice. It's not necessarily knocking my socks off, but I don't really wear a lot of cool tones. What else? The eyeliner, again, if you like a felt tip eyeliner pen, that was actually surprisingly easy to use, considering firstly it's a felt tip and I'm not very good at felt tip, and secondly that tip is actually huge. Like, it looks like a marker pen. I don't know in what world I would use that star. Especially considering, like I say, when I tried it on the back of my hand it did bleed quite a bit. I would love to know how you would use a product like that. I think if I was going to use a product like that, I would almost use it in this sort of area, like above the crease. But also I do fear that it would bleed. So yeah, I haven't tried it because I'm scared. And I have other things I want to film today. And I don't want to look like I've got a black eye. But let me know if you've tried a product like that. Let me know what you think of it. The lip balm. I think I want to try this again before I give any sort of thoughts on it, because my lips are especially dry today. Unfortunately, I think I'm coming down with a cold, and it is sort of grabbing in some areas. Like the pH reactive colour is grabbing a little bit, but my lips are very, very dry today. So I would like to try this on another day when I'm not struggling quite so much. And that was everything new that I've tried today. Let me know, have you tried any of these bits? Oh, I nearly knocked that whole box onto the floor. Have you tried any of these new bits from TECHNIC, and what do you think of them? I need to go and reheat my hot water bottle. I am actually freezing cold. I hope that you are having a fantastic, fantastic day. I would love to hear what you think of these products down below, but until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye.